You're wondering what you should expect for this full moon in February. We're just coming up on Tuesday, just a little bit before 10 Central in the morning. Then you've come to the right place. My name's Seth. I run Comingouttarot.com. You can always find out more about me over there. But while we're here, I'm talking about what you can expect for the full moon and the relationships that exist in your life, or the one you're trying to find. Hey, Melly. So first, to get us started, just as I'm getting some cards in order here, to get us started, if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe so we can keep track of each other. And if you find that this content is helpful, anytime, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button down there. Because not only does it let me know the content is helpful, but it gets it in front of other people. And as Melly, my good friend Melly says, don't keep me a secret. Share me out with your friends. If you know somebody else who could use this message, pass it on so they can take advantage of it too. All right. What we're going to start with is an oracle card, just so we have like a nice big filter, a nice good idea of what is coming. Yes, what's coming for this full moon. And then we're going to go through each star sign. So hang on one second. Almost ready. Almost ready. I've been getting so much done today, you guys. It is ridiculous. All right. Here's the card. Here's the card we're going to use for our oracle. This is a group of artists' cards. They're art oracles from the Art Institute of Chicago. So these are all different artists and things that they bring to the world. And our artist today is J.M.W. Turner. JMW says to us, find the facts in a feeling. Nature does not sit still, and the sun will rise whether or not you are there to watch it. I like this guy. Nature does not sit still. That's my life. The sun will rise whether or not you're there to watch it. True, but I'd rather be there because that's just my nature. I want to be up in the morning. And find the facts in a feeling. That's interesting. To me, that's about delving deeper into who we are, what we're meant to be doing, why we're here, and why we're involved in whatever the moment is that's going on. You don't have to know the fact right then, but you can know the fact at some point. You know, to reflect and do that lessons learned on your life, I think is important because it helps us better know if we want to keep doing something or not. All right, let's get these tarot cards in order, and then we'll pull a card for each of our sun signs. Let's see what kind of relationship shenanigans we got going on during this February full moon. Guys, I pitched a bunch of media outlets today, some podcasts, some newspapers, passed a blog post onto the Good Men Project to see if they'd be interested in posting it, sharing it out. I reached out to the Pride Festival Committee here in Chicago to find out if there's any way that I can get a discounted rate on my booth, because I'd like to get a booth, but it's expensive. Got an Illinois business license in the mail, which means now I can be taxed. I got so much shit done this morning. Ridiculous. All right, here we go. I like to lay these all out so I can see what's going on for everybody. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. All right, what do we got going on here? Interesting. We've got fire in the base. We've got a little fire at the top. We've got airy, earthy stuff going on in the middle. So this, I think what's interesting about just overall relationships during the, just elementally, we've got a lot of for February's full moon. A lot of fire, a lot of passion, a lot of good ideas, insight, a lot of creativity happening, but not so much for those like those four in the middle are Libras. Who is it? Libra, Virgo, Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio. They're they're not having all that same kind of experience. So that group is a little bit off from where everybody else is during this full moon. I think that's interesting. Um, I also am very aware that they don't have any major arcanas either. So like that whole group, that four I just mentioned, Leo, Libra, Virgo, Scorpio, they don't they don't have any majors either. The other four, the other eight do, but there's something going on in the middle of the zodiac here where things just aren't going the way we want them to, and I find that fascinating, or at least compared to everybody else. They're just off. They're not on the same wavelength. It's just different. So first, let's talk about Aries and relationships that are going on with Aries, what they might need to be aware of. Aries, you've got the Five of Swords here. This is kind of a deceitful experience, either you or someone else in your life, whichever relationship is most important to you during this full moon. You're probably going through the experience of feeling like they're not being as truthful, or you are not being as truthful as you possibly can be. So there's some deceit, there's a little bit of definitely some deception. The things that you thought were going one way are probably going to go a complete opposite. And Aries, you have the innate ability to snoop this kind of thing out anyway. So if it's the other person and it's not you, zero in on it. You know how to take care of it already. If it's you, why are you even wasting your energy in this space? This is not a very Aries thing to be a part of. So my thought is that Aries, it's probably more self-deception if it's you, if it's not the other person. So if it's truly the other person, then sniff it out, snuff it out. If it's you and you're in a self-deception space, you got some work to do, and that's just not a strong position for you, Aries. Taurus, this is my card. Taurus, this is the sun. I love having the sun show up because whenever the sun, not whenever, but most of the time when the sun shows up, it is, it means you're on the right path, you're heading in the right direction, things feel right. What's surrounding our Taurus energy though is that it's coming out of some losses, some lessons learned, things that were a little bit painful, but what you're going to be able to be moving towards is pulling things together. So where you may have been struggling and possibly challenged in knowing where you were coming from, it's all starting to come together and make sense, and that means you're headed in the right direction, Taurus, especially with the relationships that are in your life. Keep going. Honor those relationships, trust them, make them beautiful, allow them to shine and radiate, because that's gonna, the more you can like put yourself out there and show how amazing your relationship is, the greater it's going to be for you. And that's not always something that Taurus does, but now's the time, Taurus, to put your relationship out there. All right, Gemini. This is so awesome for Gemini. This is Temperance. Temperance is really, it's one of those balance cards. It's kind of like having Justice a little bit. But this also aligns really strongly with Sagittarius. So interestingly enough, Gemini, what you may find is that you're on your, like, there is a direct and clear path for you and one way things should be done, and you might be a little argumentative about it. And that emotional side of you is a little less dominant than it usually is, where you can kind of switch between the two. You're a little more, here's what I'm doing, I got stuff I gotta do. So you're not quite as balanced as you'd like to be. In fact, when you get around Tauruses, you may find that emotional side comes out. When you get around Cancers, you may find that you get really, really challenged, because Cancers for some reason are being really stubborn right now. And that is extremely frustrating to you when you have got something in mind that you want to accomplish, and those water signs, especially Cancer, are like, no, and that's not normally what they're like. It kind of throws you for a loop. So, relationship wise, Gemini, you're pushing things forward. You're driving. You've got a clear goal in mind, and that may scare some people because it's just not. It's not the timidness, I guess, that they're used to. Not that you're timid, but you know what I mean. A little less. Usually a little less forward. So, don't be surprised if it scares some people a little bit. What's cool though is that you're coming from a place of emotional stability, and that is why you're able to be so strong, so confident. All right, Cancer. Cancer, you've got the Four of Stones. This is a little fascinating to me to have Cancer have an earth sign or an earth element show up for this water sign, especially one that's so rigid, because I think of Cancers as being very flowy and thoughtful and thinking about where they want to be and then just kind of going with the thing, and this is making you very like tightened down, Cancer. It's a bit of a protective space to be. In fact, I'll take out a bit of it. Is a protective space to be. It's kind of like you're calling in all of your security blankets and you're going to hold on to them. Have you ever seen, if you've seen the dark crystal and those things that the Skeksis use as an army, and they're like this, and as they walk, and then they attack things with their claw. They look like big crabs, but they're like this when they're at rest. That's kind of what you are, is those big things at rest, but your arms are crossed and you're a little grumpy and challenged. So just know, Cancer, that this is not how people normally perceive you. So your relationships, you might be closing yourself off from your relationships in a way that isn't healthy, or you may be protecting yourself because people are getting too close and you're not quite sure how to handle it. Well, the best way to handle it is to let them in, because that's what you do. You draw in others and you share, even though it is very selective who you draw in. Now's a chance for you to let in more people, and that can only help your relationships grow stronger. All right, moving into Leo. Leo, this is Isis, and I'm fascinated that Isis is showing up for Leo. I was doing a little more studying on Isis today, and I love the femininity of Isis. I love that she is unapologetic in her femininity, and that it's like standing tall and being confident in, this is who I am, knowing that it is a challenge for other people for femininity to be as strong as it can be, and not call someone like they're acting like a man, or that they're a bitch, or to, if that's applied to men, assume that it is weakness. The feminine side of Leo is so incredibly powerful that I think in the relationships that you have during this full moon, what you may find is that your femininity is stronger than your masculinity. And that's a really powerful place to be, because if we think about tarot and femininity, we tend to think of it in a passive sense versus an active sense when we talk about feminine or masculine. But that's the complete opposite here. We've got this great masculine energy that's coming from a full moon, but is informed by the reflection of the sun. There's this great like triangle of like sun and reflection to the earth and moon, and it is creating this empowered feminine strength that puts you in a light that you're not normally in. And Leo, I think you thrive in new lights when people see these new fascinating things about you. So lean into it, let it happen, because what's going to happen is your relationships are going to shift during this time, and people are going to see you as they're going to see you as a healer, as someone who is active in their healing, and someone who is strong without needing to be aggressive. All right, moving on to Libra. Libra, this is the Three of Swords. I think your relationships go through a bit of a challenge here, Libra. During this full moon, what you're going to find is that it's entirely possible that you need to release some relationships, that you might find relationships ending, or that you choose to end a relationship during this full moon. It's not something you do lightly. There's nothing that Libra does lightly. I think everything's weighed, everything is balanced, everything's scaled, right? But in this case, things are going to feel way out of balance. Something's going to feel not fair, and that's why this is so much of a struggle and so painful. So I'm sorry to deliver some bad news, and it's the complete opposite of what Leo's going through. It's just not. It's not where it's meant to be. And what I think is interesting is that you're probably going to find out that the relationship you've been having, I think the other person is ready to start something new. And so it's a natural into the relationship anyway. It just doesn't feel like it because you probably have to end it if they're not forcing you to end it anyway. What you could do, though, Libra, and I think this is fascinating because it's been a long time since I've been around a lot of Libras, but as a Taurus, I think you can lean on Tauruses as the aspiration of where you'd like to be. So what Taurus is going through this full moon, that's what they've been through and where they are now is where you're headed or where you'd like to be headed. So I'd check in with your Taurus friends. All right. Oh my God, I just did. That was all Virgo. All that for Virgo. Sorry, Virgo. All that for Virgo. Libra's got a bit of a better outlook. Now, all the Virgos are mad at me because I should have got it right the first time, and they would have. So I'm sorry, Virgo. That was for you. For some reason, I always mix up my Virgo Libra. I have to really concentrate on that. I know, I feel bad. But I know the Virgos are going to come for me now. Sorry, Virgos. Sorry. I feel bad because I hate to... Oh, I'm sorry, Catherine. Catherine, I've got better news for you. I've got better news for you. I'm sorry that I scared all of the Libras out there. But Libra. So Virgo. Libra. I know, I feel bad. Because I'm thinking of all the Virgos I know, and I'm like, oh. All right, Libras. 9 of Stones. I know, sorry, Virgo. 9 of Stones. You've been working really, really hard for the relationships that you want to move forward. I think that I think there's a good base. Hey, Noma Joe. There's a good base to your relationships. What you might want to look out for is kind of like Cancer's doing, is having this like hoarding of what you think must be versus what can be. So you've been through this type of experience before, or you wouldn't be making it this far. You're a bit at a mastery stage of, I know how I want this relationship to move forward. I know how I want it to be physically, and I'm really happy with where it is physically, and I've worked hard for it to be here and to be in this space. But there's still an opportunity for you to kind of like screw up that that base. Particularly if you shut someone out. Don't shut the other side of this relationship out. If you shut them out, you're going to destroy the base, and it starts to close everything in, and suddenly everything is falling apart around you. So trust the base. Don't shut anybody out. Don't shut anybody out. Allow them to come in. Resist the urge. Resist the urge, Libra, to start closing in and shutting people out. Trust your base. Allow them to be with you and around you. In fact, this is also a good time. This is a good time to trust the physical nature of your relationship. So whatever the sexual nature is, trust that. Keep it where it is. Because ultimately, it's going to lead to the strength of your relationship. What's interesting, though, is that your relationship is changing. It's taking a shift. It's taking a turn. It's coming out of a bit of challenge and dark time, kind of like Taurus was, and it's starting to shift and change. You learned a lot of things up until this new moon, so trust what you've learned, trust the structure you've made, and allow yourself to move forward. All right. Scorpio. You know what else I think is interesting is that I screwed up the row that I was saying is just kind of weird anyway, so it's surprising. I guess it's kind of not surprising that I had some challenge in this row because it's just different than the other ones. All right, Scorpio. This is the 3 of Cups, Scorpio. Scorpio, you got your relationships are all like friendship based, and if it's a romantic relationship, it is the power of friendship within your romantic relationships that make them strong. So I would truly trust the friends that are around you. Know that type of relationship is most important to you during this full moon. So nurture them, care for them, reach out to them. If you've got like 2 best friends, bring them both together and hang out. Go out for a night together. Go do some shopping together. Go watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Oh, it's over. Watch the premiere together. Season 11. Whatever is fun to do, to get together and have a drink and hang out. Whatever helps build and nurture that friendship. Because your friends are your most important right now during this full moon. And I thought there might be a little bit more there, but I don't think there is. The only thing that I would add is, yes, nurture these relationships, but make it something, what's the word I want? The god I'm thinking of is Pan. What is that called? When you're just kind of debaucherous and drinking and you're imbibing and you're eating and everything is just like too much. And it's kind of like one big party. There was a word for this, and it's on the tip of my tongue, but it's that kind of like, it was a god, and he would bring people together. Bacchus, a hog? No, Bacchus. It's like, he's this god that would bring people together, and they'd party, and they'd drink, and they'd eat, and they'd have sex, and it was just like a bacchanal. It's that kind of thing. But do that with your friends. So if it's a throuple, have the throuple. If it's a couple and a third that comes in, do the third. If you're in a polyamorous relationship, build on that. If it's just strong friendship, continue with that and allow your time together to be a story later, like the one you laugh about and reminisce. All right. Sagittarius. It's that kind of thing. Scorpio. Getting to it. Sagittarius. This is strength. My Sagittarians, your relationships are going to test you during this full moon. And my favorite part about Sagittarians is that, in my experience, they're the ones who are able to come with the truth when the truth is most needed. And they will walk right up to you and say, listen, we need to talk. And here's truth. And there's no getting around it. And my favorite part about that is that it takes a lot of strength to be able to do that, because it's not easy. And it's something we can all take a note from Sagittarians. So Sagittarians, you're being called upon again to be able to share your truth. We know it's not easy. What you may find is that you really need to harness the energy this time. It may be extremely frustrating. And it may have been building up for a long time. So just be mindful of the fact that you know how to handle these conversations. It's been building up for a long time, and you can get control of the emotional state so that it's not a miscommunication, but it is a powerful communication. All right, Capricorn. This is the Ace of Wands. Capricorn, what an exciting time for you. We got a full moon. You've got an Ace of Wands here, new adventures, new exciting things happening. This is a great time to start a new business, a great time to start a new adventure, a great time to take a trip if you're interested in taking a new trip somewhere. But this full moon is all about renewal for you, which usually happens on a new moon. So interesting that it's happening right now, Capricorn. So I hope it's not a false positive. I don't know. It doesn't feel like that to me. But how exciting. You're also surrounded by a lot of fire in this reading. Hey, Pearl. So this energy is a huge thrust. The more focused you are, the more success you have awaiting you. But there's going to be some challenges in between. So just be ready. But that's the point. That when you leap off doing something new, there's going to be some disappointment. There's going to be some failure. And then you just get back on the boat and you do it again, and you learn from it and you keep going. All right, Pearl, we're doing readings by star sign for the full moon, and I've got two more to go. We've got Aquarius next. So Aquarius, you've got the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, Aquarius. Aquarius are one of the... You did, like, just barely, you just missed Sag. Aquarius, you've got this was one of those signs that really... I have to really work to understand, and I'm sure the rest of the world does too. Aquariuses are fascinating people, and I always love to be around Aquariuses because I'm like, what? You want it? What? Okay. And then some days I'm like, Aquarius. Well, what's cool for Aquarius right now, with the Wheel of Fortune Aquarius, things are shifting, things are changing, whether you want them to or not. We're not quite in a tower situation, but they're changing for the better. They're changing for the good. Whether you've built up to this or not, and I'm not quite sure you have, but I think you may have taken a new step, tried something new that you haven't done before that's caused this wheel to turn, or at least to start moving. I do think you did it yourself. I don't think somebody else started the wheel turning, but I think you're moving in the right direction now. So if you felt like, I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going, you should start feeling in this new moon like you have purpose and direction, and you're actually starting to materialize the things that you need. So if you were looking for a new stronger relationship, or a new turn in your relationship, so it will go in the direction that would make it stronger, you've made the right move. It's starting to do that. If you need the relationship to end in order to feel secure and safe, you've started to do that. So whatever choice you made in your relationship, you're starting to move forward, and that's amazing, and feels really incredible. It's going to feel like it's moving very slowly to you, and that's okay. It's probably going to be frustrating, Aquarius. You'd probably like to move a lot faster. Don't worry. It's happening, and it's happening at this pace for a reason. You kicked it into gear. So there's a reason it's moving at this pace. Trust it. Let it happen. All right. Okay, sorry, Aquarius, one more thing. There's something here. Hey, Joan. There's something here with your hands as well. So whatever is going on in this relationship that you kicked into high gear, there's something to do with your hands. And it, without digging more into this, I don't know exactly what it is, but there is something with your hands and touch. So for whatever relationship you're trying to move forward or existing in today that you're trying to move in a different direction, touch is a part of this, and you need to lean into the touch. I'm assuming you'll know what that means. Okay. Pisces. Pisces, this is the universe. We've done big leaps from Aries all the way down to Pisces. To have the universe show up in our last zodiac sign, it's also the last card in the major arcana. This is the culmination of a lot of experiences and events. Pisces, all the things you've done for your relationships up until now are coming to fruition. You've been doing the right thing for so long. It's all starting to come together and happen. So if your relationships are based in professional relationships, you're moving towards the career or the role that you're looking for. It's starting to happen. If it's about a romantic relationship, the steps that you've been doing to work on your relationship, this is all coming to a head now in a way that is positive and successful. If we're talking about familial relationships, you're probably finding your way home in a sense, maybe physically, maybe metaphorically finding yourself home in realizing that family is back together in some way. So your Pisces, your state of relationships has taken a lot of work, and it's all worth it. It's happening now. It's materializing. It's becoming a thing. And you can congratulate yourself and pat yourself on the back for all the work that you've done. All right. I hope this is helpful, everybody. This is some insight into your relationships during the full moon, which is coming up on Tuesday, just a little bit before 10 Central in the morning. If you haven't already, check out Comingouttarot.com. If you're a tarot reader and you're interested in being a part of my up and coming podcast, Coming Out of the Tarot Closet, drop me a message and let me know. I threw some stuff up on Instagram and Twitter about coming out of the tarot closet. I'm starting to get it all together now so I can start recording hopefully in March and get some episodes out for you guys about what it's like to come out of the tarot closet. I want to share everybody's stories because it's something I've struggled with. It's something I'm trying to better understand. And I want to pass that on to all the up-and-coming readers, including the up-and-coming queer readers that are out there, to know that sometimes it's harder to come out of the tarot closet than it is to come out of the closet. And it is. At least it's been my experience. So I want to find out why. And I want to help people not have to deal with that same kind of struggle. So I'm going to interview a bunch of people and find out what's going on, what's behind that, and how I can make it easier for others. All right, everybody, don't forget our oracle for today that led us through this relationship conversation is from J.M.W. Turner. Find the facts in a feeling. Nature does not sit still, and the sun will rise whether or not you are there to watch it. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of